My name's Gus. I'm out of Colorado. The primary class I play, or the primary game I play is Amp Guard. He, him, and then what do I want from this class is I want you guys to start thinking when you're fighting.
Hi, I'm Ender. I play out of the Celestial Kingdom in Austin. Been playing for 7 years. Warlord. Pronouns, he, they, works great. And then what am I trying to get out of this class? Critical thinking skills, problem solving skills, right? I hope y'all can use these tools to your advantage when you're fighting on day to day. So.
I'm Heron from the Kingdom of Northern Lights, which is in Washington State. I mostly play Amp Guard. I've been playing for about 10 years and I'm a warlord. I mostly want to help you guys get to the point where you can make a plan based on the information you have. Oh, and my pronouns are she, her. I knew I was missing something.
Hi, I'm Rock from KCG. I play a bunch of different games. What I want from this class is just to, increase mental capacity. Fighting's a lot of brain power, so this should help with that. Pronouns are they, them.
We're just gonna start right there. I'm volunteering you.
Yep, Goblin, fight out of me.
I have a lot of comments on I want to get better at reading my opponent or strategies and stuff like that. So when I say opponent analysis, what comes to your mind? Anyone? Yeah.
Like seeing the person and analyzing about them more than necessarily their equipment. Because is this different than style analysis?
Okay.
No, is this different than style analysis?
Style analysis is a part of it. This is all about your opponent. How do you read them? So it's not just your opponent. It's their equipment. It's their style. It's everything. Any other ideas?
Watching how they move.
Yeah. Anything else?
How they respond to
reading their
what
body
you do.
to be able to determine what the next shot might be.
Yep. So when I think of opponent analysis, I think of reading and processing all the information my opponent has given me. It's everything they're doing, everything they have, and then processing that information to help me come up with a strategy, to help myself come up with a game plan. Other instructors, what do you guys think?
Yeah, usually the first thing that I look at somebody is what hand their sword is in, how tall they are. If I'm watching them fight other people, whether they're throwing first or throwing second, that sort of thing.
I think about range. What range do they prefer to fight at? What options they're looking for? Whether they're a little bit more timid or proactive, right? There's a lot of mental things that involve opponent analysis as well, not just physical. So yeah.
Any and all information I can glean from someone, no matter how unhelpful or helpful it may be, whether it's a small tick, a pattern they like to really do, just anything that I can use against them.
Yeah. So I mentioned it's all about your opponent, what information they're providing, but what information can we get? What is out there? Give me examples.
Body language.
More specifically. Be
Their
specific.
stance.
Stance. Yes. Could be something as what foot's forward.
I was going to say focus position.
Yep. What else? There's lots of examples.
Shield position.
Shield
Weapon
position. And I tell you, there is no wrong answer on this.
Do they have a lead they prefer?
Yeah.
How they're holding
Do
their
they
sword.
respond to bait?
How they respond to things. How they hold their equipment. What else?
Where do their eyes look?
Where do their eyes look? Yeah. Everything your opponent does or has is information. It's just how do we read that and process it. So that's what we're here today to do, is to start that process. And this is a very student-led class. You guys are doing the heavy lifting today. So with that in mind, I need a volunteer with their equipment. All right, whoever, with equipment as well. He's come forward. We'll have plenty of opportunities for everyone to participate. I want you to take your equipment and get in the stance. One second. We'll do you next.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
He got up here first.
I heard two.
Yep. All right. What was your name again? It was
Cecil.
Cecil. Cecil's in his stance. What do we notice? Start throwing information out.
Weird looking shield.
Shield foot forward. What was that?
Weird looking shield.
Weird looking shield. All right.
Higher
What
guard
else?
with his sword. Flat blade. Higher guard with his sword.
Higher guard with a sword. Flat blade. That's incredibly important. What else?
That's the gloves he's wearing.
Types of gloves he's wearing. They're a little thicker.
Elbows down below the pommel.
Yeah, the way he's holding his sword.
Choking up in the grip, yeah. Yeah, slightly open shield guard.
Yeah. So, yep. So all of that is information that we can then use. All right, let's get another one. We're just gonna do a couple of people. Just kind of start. Yeah, I was gonna say. What was your name again?
Giggles.
Giggles. I'm real bad with names, so I have to remind myself. All right, go on your stance. All right, what do we notice?
Open guard.
Tiny punch.
Open guard. Tiny punch shield, I heard.
Yep. Relaxed stance.
Very relaxed, yep.
Forward super close to his chest.
Forward is close to the chest.
Malum don't bait me.
What was that?
Malum don't bait me. Goggles but no gloves.
There's no gloves. There's one piece of information that we haven't heard yet.
Sword foot forward.
Sword foot forward, so one more piece.
Like
Turn to
he's
your
baiting
side
his
real
arm.
quick. Like this? It doesn't matter. So that way they can see your side profile. What do we notice?
Very wide
Like
stance.
full on facing.
Leaning back. Shield to body. Punch.
Punch shield. That's a pretty big important piece of information, right? Yeah. All right, let's do one more. Let's get a different style besides sword and board. All right, we got a Florentiner. Don't worry, everyone's gonna get an opportunity to participate. All right, go to a stance. What do we notice?
Swords crossed.
Swords are crossed in a denial guard.
Left foot forward.
Foot forward.
Left foot forward.
They're more like controlling the outside instead of a center lane.
Yeah.
He's got sunglasses on. You can't see his eyes.
Yep. That's a piece of information. You can't know where he's looking.
His hands are as bladed as his stance.
Yep.
Why so much weight on your front leg?
Because I'm trying not to fall down the hill.
Yeah. Yeah. Something I notice, looks like he's pretty lanky. Probably has greater reach than myself. So even things like that, like body type, can be a great piece of information. So now we've got some information, let's start putting it together.
You want the instructors to show an example?
Sure. I just blanked on this, like my head. So yeah, the direct offense, as you go down the chart, is going to show you like it's generally pretty good against this style. Yeah, you see how he's just throwing shots, not caring about his defense. So direct offense is generally going to be good against indirect offense. Indirect offense, that's that person that's sitting there juking, jiving. They're trying to set something up. They're using a lot of feints, stutters, opening with motions to get them out of position. They're like doing that. So as that person is sitting there doing all those motions, that direct offense, they're swinging at you, right? They're just coming straight for you. So like they're not going to give you that opportunity. Then if we go down to the bottom, we've got direct defense. They're that person. They're a rock. They're not moving. They're just blocking. They're biding their time. They're waiting for that perfect opportunity to punch you back. And the reason indirect offense is good against direct defense is that person's staying there, they're not moving, they're not trying to do anything, and the indirect offense can usually fake and get an opening, fake and manipulate them. They've given them time to play their game. Direct defense is good against indirect defense. So indirect defense, that's that person that's always out of range, they're using range control, they're moving around, they're not faking as much, but they're controlling that space, they're being persistent. Versus if Ender is direct defense, he's not throwing shots. He wants to stand there. He wants to take the beating. And then indirect defense is really good against the direct offense because that indirect defense is sitting there. They're using range control. They're keeping that motion. So as that flurry is coming at them, they're able to keep the range. They're able to basically take the abuse, right? Does all of that kind of make sense and how we can square them all up? I'm not hearing a yes or a no. Okay, thank you. And that helps us because as we go through the class, we're going to start analyzing each other. And being able to just quickly fit them into one of these categories could help you. Could help us assign like, oh, they're a direct defense fighter. We probably want to be an indirect offense to counter them. So that's how we're going to use this tool. So one of the things we're going to start doing is we're going to do some fights. So how this is going to work, we're going to bring two fighters. Yes?
Sorry. There's a little crisscross about how they match up across it. Are we doing that
They're
later?
basically no advantage is a way of thinking of it. So if you look at your indirect defense, that's that person that's using range control that's moving. You're not going to really have an advantage over a indirect offense who's sitting there and like faking and trying to get you to move and trying to manipulate you.
Opposites are also how you counter. So if, for example, I am, let's see, direct defensive, someone inherently is trying to go indirect offensive. So what I want to prepare to do is do what? Swap to direct offense, exactly.
Yep. You don't always have to stay in one style. Everyone can move, but everyone's got a preferred style, right? You could probably pigeonhole yourself into one you start with, right? But you don't have to stay there. Remember that. Yep.
Yeah, okay. So what are all of your preferred styles?
All right, let's do it. Ender.
So I also like to consider range as well, right? So I like to put myself range-wise, medium range is my preferred range, and then my preferred style is indirect defensive. Huh?
So you were supposed to interject with that information. I forgot. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good. We can touch on that, but yeah, my preferred range is medium. My preferred fighting style is indirect defensive.
Cool.
I definitely flip between indirect offensive and direct offensive. I like to keep the flow of combat in my favor.
Cool.
I'd say usually, especially if I'm trying to like feel somebody out for the first time, I'm more of like indirect defensive. I'll try and like see what they're going to like throw at me first. But then as I get more comfortable fighting the same person, I kind of switch over to indirect offensive, where I can see like what can I make them do by throwing stuff, and just kind of explore what they do through those two kind of categories.
Close range fighter, someone who likes getting close, gets beaten by maneuverability from medium range. So as I'm coming in, someone taking a side step, yeah, exactly. Like this is how you get beaten, is by staying in medium range, right? I want to fight close range. Medium range is how you beat that. Someone who wants to be on the edge of range at medium and maneuver gets beaten by long range. Someone who maintains the even further from distance, exploiting these moments in footwork where you're entering range, I'm going to throw a shot and I'm going to leave. Right, this is an example of long range fighting. And the way to beat a long range fighter, so think about when you're fighting a pole. What do you do when you're fighting a pole arm? How do you beat it?
Run up on them.
Yeah, you run them down, right? They lose at close range, right? So your goal is to get in real tight, and now you're way past the striking surface, so this is where they die. But same exact scenario, right? Your goal is to close range. So by one, understanding someone's style, but also understanding someone's preferred range, we have two different ways to counter someone based off of these axes.
So you already said it. What range do you prefer?
I prefer medium.
Rock?
Oh, medium, most definitely.
Long.
Close. I want to get face to face with you. Like I want to be right there, and I'm going to use defense to get there. So, awesome. So we're going to do a couple of quick exercises. This was going to be everything is going to be a group based. We're all collectively here to do this. So how this is going to work? We're going to bring two fighters forward. Don't jump yet. We're just going to do a couple of quick fights as a group. We're going to analyze them. I want information like what did you notice? What did you think? Put them in a category. Think about where do they fit? What is their preferred range? And then we'll have them sit down. We'll grab another pair. We'll do that for ideally like 15 or so minutes. And then after that, we're splitting in half. And we're going to do the same thing, but this time it's a group exercise off to the side. We're going to fight, separate, come back together. Sorry, fight, separate, come up with strategies, come up with ideas on how do you beat your opponent on what we've seen. Come back together, implement it. And then cycle through a couple more people. And then we'll talk about what worked, what didn't work, etc. So it's very hands-on. So I want 2 new volunteers. All right, yeah, you jumped up earlier. Whatever equipment you want to use, we'll just do, let's just do 2 quick fights. If the fights end up being longer, we'll just do less of them for each pair. But we're going to try and get through a couple of them.
I'm about to get my shit right. It's going to be fun.
All right, go ahead, lay on.
I'm so sorry for face shot.
Okay, you okay though?
Yeah, I'm
All right.
You need to get on there.
My hips. And it doesn't matter what the outcome is. We're just here to learn. So let's go ahead.
Okay.
Let's do another one.
I thought we were gonna have live. Sorry.
Yeah,
Nope.
so good.
I want to give a couple of opportunities to get information. So if we can do a couple fights, we're gonna do it.
Dead.
All right. Let's stop right there. What do we see?
major height disparity,
Okay.
including the hill as well. It didn't really help.
Yeah. What else?
The tall guy has the high ground.
Yeah, I was like, what do you mean?
What style do you think they prefer?
I feel like mid to long range and then close range.
Okay. So we have ranges. Where do you think they fit in the chart?
Indirect offense and then direct offense.
Okay. Do you guys feel, does that accurately sum your fighting style, do you think?
I'm actually,
Tell me no, that's not fair.
I'm more defensive.
Okay.
You're spot on with me though.
Yeah.
I like to throw feints.
I'm just. That man was scary in the ditch line last night. So I'm
Gotcha.
trying to get ahead.
There's one piece of information I got right off the bat. Flat blades.
Yeah.
What equipment are they using? All right. Any last little bits of information?
I forget your name, the taller one.
Hi, Hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin seemed to have their swords more like parallel, where Iroh looked like they're crossing theirs more.
Okay.
As well
so more
as
denial guard.
Hobgoblin twitches the swords a lot.
Yep. Yeah, and remember, there is no wrong information. You can interpret information not correctly, but we can always reprocess when we get more information and come to a closer answer. So we are always trying to process. So let's get two other people. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to give my input on it.
Yeah.
When fights start, your guard and swords go extremely high.
Yeah.
Whether it's trying to swing, trying to block, even against someone incredibly shorter than you and up higher the hill, your guard immediately goes up. Iroh killed you both times with the hip scoop.
Yeah.
Yep. And this is all stuff that warlords are doing just very quickly. When you line up against them, they're processing your information, whether it's active or just passive. They're always doing that. I have to do it actively. I'm not a very sports type person, not very athletic, so I use my mind a lot. But this is something we're all doing.
It's muscle memory. I'm just
Yeah.
fighting taller fighters, so it's like, ha, shit, no.
Yep. All right, let's get two other people.
Real quick.
Yeah.
For the class, what were their preferred ranges? Let's start with Iroh.
Starting at long.
Yeah, so fights always start off at long, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's their preferred style. Medium, and then it can be more than one thing. Medium and close. Right. What did Hobgoblin? What did
Medium to long.
Medium to long. Yeah, for sure. Right. They're trying to get this fight where they can still hit each other's arms. However, Hobgoblin was trying to focus more on maintaining a distance, controlling that advantage of having that little bit of extra reach. Iroh needing to compensate, obviously with the height disparity, but also that style, right? How do you beat long range? Close range, right?
Stay away from me.
Suffocate the angles, get in tight, right? So notice that just based off these axes, right? We have that style, we have that range. Now, if we were right later, I'm going to spoil it a little bit, but our goal is to now figure out what should this fighter be doing to beat that style and that range, and vice versa, right? So I guess just start critically thinking about how we can start doing
One
that.
sort of like small extra thing on top of that was just that not only was he fighting at medium and trying to cover to close range, but he was using the strategy of that indirect defense to wait for his opportunity and capitalize on that, not just for the strike, but also for the entry that goes into the strike.
100%, yes.
Get that man a cookie. All right, let's get two new fighters up.
Gold star for
I'd like to try and do at least two more of these.
One more fighter.
All right, we got Jib.
Too late, Toby.
All right, you can. We'll make sure you're next. Do one more. All right. Information. What do we got?
Strap shield, punch shield,
Yep.
They're both very tall.
long.
Everyone's taller.
Everyone's taller than you. I had to look to see who said that. Sorry, it took me a second. What styles are they? What ranges do they prefer?
I feel like medium.
I feel like the medium range overall.
Okay.
So Fig wanted to transition from indirect offense to direct defense. Every time Fig got pressed, and then name again.
Troil.
Troil.
Troyel.
Troil.
Yeah. they're mostly floating in between as well, and their shots were more direct versus indirect.
Do you guys think that's an accurate summary?
Yeah.
More or less. Okay.
Fun food for thought. When you get legged as a boardman, what style do you normally adopt?
Turtle, direct, sorry.
Direct defensive, right?
Yep.
So when we start thinking about most boardmen getting legged to go to direct defensive, as the person who legged them, who isn't legged, what should they be doing?
Indirect in.
Right, they need to be faking, right?
Yep.
They need to try and expose their opponent's guard and, fake, end up somewhere else, right? This style still works. This is a situation where you can exploit the style more frequently because the situation of the fight.
I want to comment on that. And remember, it's not the be-all, end-all rules. Because if I leg someone, I don't go to indirect offense. I go to direct defense, personally, because I want to close in on them, get to that close range where I've then controlled the fight and just go right over their back. So we don't always have to use the chart, but generalizing it is a good strategy if you're newer and you don't have a preferred strategy for things of being able to come up with one. Ranges.
Sorry, I'm thinking about something sort of more broadly on that note because it's often that default to go to direct defense. I fight with a lot of people who instinctually just start swinging and go for direct offense once they get legged, and the tell for that I'm now realizing is usually the way they go down onto their leg, that you can kind of gauge what their next their next strategy is going to be. Is people who are transitioning into direct offense will usually do a slide forward onto.
And what do you do? What are you going to do then next time they do that to you?
Defense.
Yep, indirect defense.
Indirect defense. Yes.
Yep.
Sidestep, range control.
Yep. Create those angles, create those opportunities.
So another thing here is that opponent analysis does not stop once the sword starts swinging. There are things that you should track while fighting them, especially since tournaments are 3 out of 5, 2 out of 3, right? So you're trying to analyze your opponent before they analyze you. So after the sword started swinging, I saw Troil, you look like you lean over a bit when you're in your defensive guard, and for you, your hand drifts away from your board when you're circling. And I think that's what allowed that money to come in. So it's small things like that you should really grab onto and try to pick up as quickly as you can while the fights are happening.
Yep. What ranges do they want to fight at? I don't think we got to that yet.
Big wanted to fight at medium close, and Troil wanted to fight at medium
Or maybe
long.
we did cover that. I don't know. It's been a long weekend so far. But all right, let's do one more pair. And we got you volunteered last time, so let's get you up. One other person.
We got fellas.
I'm gonna lose to Toby. It's okay.
Hand. You got it. Okay. That was a quick one. Let's do another one. Okay. Good. All right. What do we got?
Punch, strap.
Yep.
Just fell asleep.
Punch and strap shields.
Once Fuzz lost the first fight, they switched to sword foot forward.
Okay.
Or shield foot forward, not sword.
Yep. That's a great observation to notice in a mid-fight, like Rock was just talking about.
Yeah. I pulled this part where he killed me away from.
Yeah.
I'd like to add on that too, not just doing shield foot forward, but also when he goes to throw, he switches to sword foot forward. I saw that happen a few times.
Yep.
Good.
That's a good tell, yeah.
Yeah.
They seem to they will be in medium range and then jump in, throw a couple shots, and then jump out back to medium range again. They
Okay.
both were doing that each time.
Yeah, so they want to be. They prefer. I would interpret that as they prefer medium range, but their shot selection is better at close range, but they may not be comfortable at close range. Which, as a close range fighter, I go, okay, I want to get close then, right? I want to make them uncomfortable. They're not going to want to fight me there, right? So that's how we can use that information if they even look uncomfortable at a certain range. Styles. What do we think?
Oh yeah, yes. I've had the shield longer than probably some of you have been playing the game.
So for observation, Toby's a little bit more flashier with his shot selection, while Fuzz is more traditional stand and bang. That's just comfortability as far as like style goes. Toby has a little bit more footwork to the advantage, and of course Fuzz is traditional. So
Using that, where would you put the map?
Toby is in a close range fighter, but he will start engaging at the medium range and then close in and try to kill you at the close range. While Fuzz will gladly kill you at the medium range, but will engage at close range if he has to. So he would be in indirect offense.
Yep.
While Fuzz is direct defense, while direct offense as well.
Okay. Anything else? All right.
So there was a comment about like just the passing that we've had each one about what kind of shields. What's important about this shield?
Strap.
Center strap. What does center strap mean?
Take a punch.
It means that compared to a normal, or I guess other type low strap, shoulder is less covered than if you would have a low strap. That means if they have to cover shoulder, they have to cinch up a lot, right? That requires a movement, that requires a shrug, that requires something that they have to do to defend themselves instead of something maybe a more passive block, right?
It also means that their ability to throw a dark side means that they have to lift up a lot more in table.
Exactly.
Yeah, which means this side is probably not, you're safe from this side, right? Which means all of the shots are going to come from here or cross the plane, right? That's all information we can gather. You can get that just by looking at them, right?
The first thing I do when I go into a sword and board category is clock what shield that is. I might even like before the fight starts, like take a step closer, like.
Never again.
Yep. Awesome. We're going to move to the second half of the class. This one is going to be, we're going to split into two groups. Half the instructor is going to go with one. The other half are going to go with the other group. We're each going to have one person come up. We're going to do a best 2 out of 3. We're going to separate back, come up with a quick strategy in a couple of minutes. Those same 2 people are going to come back and do another best 2 out of 3. And then we'll do a quick discussion about what the strategy was and did it work. And then we'll cycle through that for the rest of the class, and we're trying to get people that haven't come forward each time, okay?